going on, Jerome's? The 2022 NFL Draft is in the books, and we want to take a look at the Vikings' defensive depth chart. Now, since the Vikings are going to be playing a multiple front, it's tough to pin a guy down to a single position because you have defensive interior players like Diesel Dalvin, who's going to be playing some 5-tech. You have 5-tech guys who might be playing some stand-up. You have some stand-up edge rushers who may be putting their hand in the dirt. So we just chopped it up the best we could. So we got presumed starters in yellow, as well as italicized and bold rookies all up in there. Now, if you look, is this going to be the starting 11? Well, nickel is the new base, so I could see a defensive line, 3 men down of Daniil, Dalvin Thompson, Harrison Phillips, za'darius Smith as a stand-up outside linebacker, and then Eric Kendricks and Jordan Hicks as your interior linebackers. And then your 3 cornerbacks, Patrick Peterson, as well as Andrew Booth Jr. on the outside, maybe Shondon Sullivan in the slot, Harrison Smith and Cameron Bynum, although you're going to see a lot of Lewis Cine, the first-round pick as well. So starting off at the top left, edge rushers, you got Danielle Hunter, you have za'darius Smith, who, knocking on all the wood, if they stay healthy, I think that they are the best pass rush combo in the National Football League. I really do. I think there are 2 guys that are going to get after it. They're very selfless. Za'Darius was a former team captain of the Packers. It wouldn't shock me if he ends up being a team captain with the new regime here with the Vikings, and they'll just get after it. Also, let's not sleep on DJ Wonnum. I think Wonnum made some big strides last season. I think that he has a chance to thrive in a new role because he played a lot of stand-up outside linebacker at South Carolina. I think that they can use his versatility in positive ways. Also, you have Janarius Robinson, last year's 4th-round pick out of Florida State, missed the entire season due to undisclosed injury. I think that he has a lot of potential because he played a lot of stand-up as well as hand in the dirt at Florida State. And then you have the 2 UDFAs, Zach Mccloud as well as Luigi Villan, Waluigi, right? So 2 guys that, I mean, easily could have been drafted at the back end of day 3, and both of them bring a ton of potential on the edge. They'll be a lot of fun to watch 5-tech wise. So 5-tech, 3-man defensive line. They're going to be your defensive ends lining up on the tackle. So you got Jumpin' James Lynch, you got Kenny Willekes, Patrick Jones second, and Usizi Otomehu coming in from the Gophers. Now, this is more the dirty work, dirt McGirt type position where your job is to set the edge, your job is to make life easy for the stand-up outside linebackers. So they're not going to get a lot of pub, but they're very important. I think that James Lynch, I think he showed last year that he has some boogie rushing from the inside as well as on the edge. Willekes, Johnny Tryhard, bless him, but this defensive line is extremely deep. Plus Patrick Jones second, man. The 3rd-round pick out of Pitt last year. I thought that he showed some flashes when he was on the field. So it is nice. I mean, the Vikings do have one of the deepest defensive lines in the National Football League. Speaking of which, defensive interior, so we got Diesel Dalvin, as well as Harrison Phillips. They can play multiple positions all along the defensive line, which is going to be great for Ed Donatel's defense. They got Julian Taylor coming in from the Niners. He was in San Francisco when he was picked up. Kwesi was in San Francisco when Taylor was picked up. He also has some great versatility. Armand for Watts really showed up and showed out that he can be a really solid pass rushing nose tackle. They got TJ Smith, T.Y. McGill, Jalen Twyman, last year's 6th-round pick out of Pitt, where actually being on the field, actually being healthy, getting after it, I think that he has a chance. Even though the Vikings are shifting away from the 4-3, which would have been his bread and butter as a true blue 3-tech, I think that there will be ways that he can be involved. Jordan Scott, the great nose tackle from Oregon, as well as Tyrese Stevenson, who I love coming out of Tulsa, man. Like Jordan Scott, Tyrese Stevenson, probably weigh in at 720 if they're announced. I love me some mountain-sized nose tackles, man. Linebackers-wise, so talking about off-ball linebackers, so I'm not including Za'Darius Smith and DJ Wonnum here. So Eric Kendricks, you got Jordan Hicks. I think that those are going to be your presumed starters, although Brian Asamoah is going to push him, man. Brian Asamoah is going to push Jordan Hicks, even though Hicks does have the advantage being the veteran, knowing a similar system. But Asamoah, I think that he's too good. He's too good not to be taken seriously in this spot. They got Blake Lynch and Troy Dye, as well as Chaz Surratt, a couple of Blake Lynch was a UDFA who I loved coming out of Baylor. I think that he, after Anthony Barr got hurt, after Vigil got hurt, I think that he played some really good football, so don't sleep on him. Troy Dye and Chaz Surratt, haven't seen much. Haven't seen much out of Troy Dye, who's gotten opportunities. Chaz Surratt was just a non-factor last year, even though he was the Vikings' 2nd draft pick last year, coming in as a 3rd-round selection. What's up? Ryan Connolly, the Private Eden Prairie, as well as Tuff Borland former Ohio State Buckeye. Cornerbacks wise, so the Vikings cornerback room heading into the draft was seen as very weak, but adding Andrew Booth in the second, and adding a Caleb Evans out of Mizzou in the fourth greatly bolstered this cornerback room. So I think that the presumptive starters are going to be Peterson, Booth, and Sean Sullivan. Now, Cameron Dantzler does really need to step up. I think that there is a world where maybe Patrick Peterson takes a step back, has more of a rotational role, and takes on more of a leadership mentor role, which obviously already does. But you could have Booth and Dantzler starting, or eventually you could have Booth and Evans starting, which would be great to see. Slot cornerback wise, I think Sean Don and Nate Harrison have the inside track, as well as Harrison Hand has some slot cornerback experience as well. Same thing with Perry Nickerson. Ty Smith, happy belated birthday, Ty Smith, by the way. Chris Boyd, I think Chris Boyd got the short end of the stick, where he got some playing time last year, was okay at times, was not okay at other times, but having Booth and Evans coming in, I think they both jump him on the depth chart. Safeties wise, you got Harrison Smith, Cameron Bynum, you got your strong and free safety respectively. Lewis Ceen's going to be all over the place, man. I think Ceen is going to be the replacement for Harrison down the line, and Donatel and Kevin O'Connell's already talked that there's going to be ways to have all three of them on the field at the same time. I think you can take advantage of Cameron Bynum's versatility, his cornerback experience. He can play in the slot, do a lot of things. And then the rest of the way, you got Josh Metellus, who played some nice special teams, Miles Dorn, as well as the UDFA Mike Brown. Specialist wise, you got Greg Joseph, you got Jordan Berry. They did bring in UDFA punter Ryan Wright, so a little bit of competition for Jordan Berry, as well as the long snapper Andrew DiPaolo. And interesting that they're saving roster spots by not bringing in another kicker. So Greg Joseph is obviously going to be the guy, as well as DiPaolo is going to be the long snapper, even though he's 97,000 years old. But but that's it. Let's take a look at the Vikings defensive depth chart, as well as the specialists. Let us know your thoughts and our thoughts in the comment section below. Subscribe for daily Vikings takes. Want to support the work, put a little something in the Venmo. But until next time, Skull Production Value.